actually originated from this Alexandria city, which had one of the finest libraries in the world. So there were so many scholars there studying, and the type of knowledge they were practicing at the time was known as chemia. So our chemistry word root came from chemia. Chemia later on became chemistry. So the people who practiced chemia, they were associated with someone who did all these magicians, sorcerers, dark magic in the dark, somewhere in the dungeon. They used to boil all this green liquids and vapors coming out. So anyone who practiced chemia, they were associated with sorcerers, dark arts, someone who practiced dark arts. Now, later on, what happened was, can you go to previous slide? Now go next. Okay, so chemia, later on the Arabian people put AL in front of this chemia. So what is the pronunciation now? Alchemia, right? Kachilo? Alchemia. So alchemia later on became alchemy. ALCHEMY. Alchemy, and the people who practiced alchemy were known as the alchemist. If you read the book by Paulo Coelho, there is a book called The Alchemist. I think that alchemist book is also that man is trying to find gold somewhere. So what happened? These people who practice chemia or alchemists, they were associated with something to do with the dead bodies now. When people die, during that time they believed that in order to go into the world of death, the dead body needed to be preserved. Carefully preserved. You are not allowed to rot that dead body. So what happened? This alchemists, they were doing all these chemical processes in the dark, and they were protecting the dead bodies. Okay, so later on, the alchemists were fascinated by gold. Alright, next. Okay, so the alchemists now later on, forget about the dead bodies, the alchemists were fascinated by gold. Okay, and they were trying to find gold, and the the Arabian people, they believed that there was some kind of a stone known as philosopher's stone that had the ability to convert any metal like tin, iron into gold. If you find this philosopher's stone, and if you spread this on choje is a gold. Okay, so they believed such kind of stone they believed that such kind of stone existed. So the alchemists, they wanted to find this philosopher's stone so that they can transmute. Okay, that word transmute means to convert ordinary metal into gold. Alright, so what happened? To do that, this alchemist, they wanted to find a philosopher's stone, so they found all these matters. Okay, they collected all the matter available on earth, and they started analyzing their properties now. Okay, they studied their melting point, boiling point, physical properties, chemical properties, in order to check whether that matter was indeed a philosopher's stone. But do you think they found philosopher's stone? No, it was just a myth. M-Y-T-H, myth. Philosopher's stone did not exist. But, go back, Chuje. Yes. So this book, Harry Potter Ginalu, the first series of Harry Potter book is known as Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. J.K. Rowling was actually inspired by this ancient story about Philosopher's Stone, and the very first book she wrote was the Philosopher's Stone. You try to find this library book and then check what happens. What does that stone do? Alright, find out what happens in that book. What does that stone do? Alright, and you can also try to read Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist and then see whether they're trying to find gold. The alchemists were people who were trying to find golds. Yes. Okay, so yes. So in this process, They did not find a philosopher's stone, but the good thing was they discovered something real, something that was available on earth. They came across first acids, they came across first bases, the alchemists in search of this philosopher's stone, and they found a whole new elements in your periodic table. Whoa, there are hundreds of elements there. It was all because of this alchemists who were trying to find philosopher's stone to transmute metals into gold. So in this process, the alchemists discovered all these new elements in it. So that is why we learn about periodic table. The very first chapter is periodic table. Now you know why there are so many elements there. Because the alchemists were trying to find the philosopher's stone, so that they can convert the metals into gold. But the philosopher's stone never existed. It doesn't exist till today. It was just a myth. Okay, but in the process, because of this ancient alchemists, we have this beautiful periodic table. We have so many elements discovered because of this. See, we have this building, this iron, and all those things are there.